have no right to tell me what I can and cannot do on my property. I want to speak to your supervisor.
I understand your frustration, but this notice is valid.
The cold air slapped my face on May 3, 2024, and before my coffee even cooled, a flashlight beam cut across my knees like I was some kind of criminal on my own sidewalk. A minivan rolled up to the curb, hazards blinking, and Karen jumped out in fuzzy slippers like it was a fire drill. The street smelled like fresh asphalt and somebody's burnt toast. She planted herself by the Cul De Sac sign and started screaming so loud my neighbor's porch camera swiveled. "You are not allowed here. This is private property." She waved a phone over her head like it was a magic wand, then slapped a bright orange HOA violation sticker on the mailbox post nearest me. My mailbox post. I just stood there holding a paper bag of pastries, blinking like, did this lady really just ticket my breathing? I wish I was making this up, but this whole mess is exactly what Karen stormed my sidewalk by the Cul De Sac screaming "You are not allowed here," had no idea I am their inspector general was about. I wasn't out there to start drama. I was there because I had a scheduled sidewalk, like I'd done 100 times, checking sidewalks, drainage grates, and common areas for safety issues. It was 9 a.m., broad daylight, and I had a clipboard and a safety vest on. Not exactly a sneaky outfit. Karen stomped closer, nose scrunched, eyes darting like she was hunting for a secret weapon. She kept pointing at the residents-only sign like it was the Constitution. I tried to keep my voice calm. "Ma'am, I'm here for an inspection." She snapped back, "Inspectors don't just stroll around here. You need permission from the board." Then she leaned in and hissed, "I already called it in." 2 minutes later, a patrol car eased in, tires crunching on gravel, and the officer stepped out with that tired look like he'd rather be anywhere else. Karen switched from yelling to acting wounded in 1 second flat. "Officer, this man is trespassing and harassing me. He's been stalking our neighborhood for weeks." I almost laughed, but it came out as a cough because the absurdity was stuck in my throat. I held up my badge and my paperwork. The officer glanced at it, then at Karen, then back at me. He asked her, "Do you have any proof he threatened you?" Karen pointed at my clipboard like it was a weapon. "He's taking notes." The neighbors started peeking out, but nobody said a word. Their curtains barely moved. You could feel the fear, like the whole street had learned to stay quiet or get targeted next. I asked the officer if we could talk aside, and Karen screamed, "No. He's trying to manipulate you. The board is sick of people like him." That was the moment I drew my line in the sand, right there on the edge of the Cul De Sac where the paint was peeling and her voice echoed off the parked cars. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't threaten her. I just told myself, fine. We're doing this the right way, the slow way, the legal way. I finished the inspection while she followed behind me like a loud goose, narrating my steps and muttering about calling her lawyer. That night, I sat at my kitchen table under a yellow lamp, the smell of stale coffee hanging in the air, and I started building my case. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I requested public records for every complaint filed from that address and every HOA contact made to the city. When the file landed with 63 pages, I didn't feel angry anymore. I felt focused. Because the pattern was right there in black and white, and it was uglier than I expected. I made a simple page for myself, like I was teaching it to a kid, because the truth didn't need fancy words. Timeline item 1 April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. Timeline item 2 April 12th at 9:18 p.m. noise complaint on a house that was empty. Timeline item 3 April 19th at 7:03 a.m. suspicious person report on a delivery driver. It went on and on. 12 calls in 30 days, and 8 of them pointed at the same 3 homes. Every time, Karen's name was either on the report or attached to an HOA email. I printed screenshots of her messages too, The ones where she called neighbors undesirables and threatened fines of $500 like she was a queen. And right in the middle of the mess was the detail that made my stomach tighten. She was signing HOA letters as security chair, even though she had no authority, and she was using HOA funds to pay for a private towing company. That's not a personality problem. That's a compliance problem. The payoff came fast because I didn't have to set a trap with tricks. I just had to show up where truth is supposed to live. The next board meeting was May 17, 2024, in the clubhouse that always smelled like lemon cleaner and old carpet. Karen strutted in like she owned the chairs, talking loud about getting rid of outsiders. The room was packed. Neighbors who never spoke suddenly showed up, phones out, recording like it was a movie premiere. I waited until the agenda hit community concerns, then I stood, introduced myself, and handed the board president my card. His face went pale the second he read it. Karen laughed and said, "Who are you supposed to be, the Sidewalk police?" I kept it simple. "I'm the Inspector General assigned to oversight for your association's contracted services and compliance reports." Karen's smile froze like a bad screenshot. I slid the binder onto the table and opened it to the timeline. The room got quiet enough to hear someone's camera autofocus. Then everything flipped. The officer from earlier was there too, because I had requested the incident logs, and the department sent a liaison to clarify the false reporting issue. He spoke calmly, but his words hit hard. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. Karen tried to interrupt, but the board president held up his hand for the first time in his life, like he finally remembered he had one. The liaison pointed to the records and explained that 4 different homeowners had been repeatedly targeted, and 3 of the calls were proven baseless by body cam footage and follow-up checks. I added the HOA payment trail for the towing company, plus the emails where Karen demanded tow fees be split with administration. The neighbors gasped like someone had ripped a curtain down. A guy in the back whispered, "She did that to my sister's car." Someone else said, "That's why my son won't ride his bike anymore." Karen's face turned shiny red, and she kept saying, "This is a misunderstanding," over and over, like the words could erase receipts. By the time the meeting ended, Karen wasn't strutting anymore. She was sitting stiff, arms crossed, while the board voted to remove her from any committee role pending review. The management company's rep explained the HOA would have to reimburse towing victims and face an audit for misused funds. The city issued a formal warning, and the police liaison told her future false calls could mean charges, not just embarrassment. Neighbors walked out smiling like they'd been holding their breath for months. One older woman touched my arm and quietly said thank you, like she was afraid gratitude might get fined too. A week later, the orange violation sticker on my mailbox post was gone, and so was Karen's security chair email signature. The Cul De Sac felt lighter. Kids started drawing with chalk again. And the best part? The next time I walked that sidewalk, the only thing chasing me was the smell of fresh coffee from a neighbor who finally waved. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.